Yo, what's going on everybody, and welcome to my new channel, Heavy Metal Devils, where we cover everything Manchester United and football in general. Now, my first video could have been about this pathetic attempt at a club takeover and the Glazers. It's just been a long, drawn-out process that's been annoying and pissing everyone off, and the Glazers just need to get the hell up on out of here and stop ruining this club. And you know what? While you're at it, sell Tampa Bay as well. They don't need your asses dragging that club down as well, okay? So get the hell out of sports, go enjoy your money and I don't know, shave your head or something. I don't know what the hell you guys are gonna do. But for now, I'd like to focus on 5 ins and 5 outs I'd like to see at the club this summer. Some of these names you're probably familiar with, but I did throw a couple, maybe curveballs in there as well. And just before we get right into this video, I'd love to welcome anyone and everyone into this Heavy Metal Devils community. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd love to chat with all of you guys and see what you think about this club, what you want to see that happen this summer, who you want in and out. Hell, give me your thoughts on the Glazers. We all want them out, right? Tell me who you want to buy the club as well. But yeah, don't forget to hit that sub button, that like button, that comment button. Do something, all right? Let's grow this community together. But anyway, let's just get into it. Let's go through the outs first. Now, number 1 might come off as a surprise, and it might not, and that's Jadon Sancho. I'm sure, like most United fans, I was absolutely jumping off my seat when we signed this kid 2 years ago, after what seemed like 2 years of faffing about with Dortmund. He finally signed for about £70 million. Not exactly cheap money here. And in 2 seasons at United, he's only notched 11 goals and 6 assists across all competitions. And that's a massive far cry from what he used to do at his Dortmund days. Let's not forget the insane numbers he was putting up at Dortmund. Double-digit figures in goals and assists almost every season he was there. He's constantly a passenger in games and rarely has any game-changing moments, which is not ideal for a 70 million pound player. Now, I know he's dealt with a lot of off-field issues and even left the team for a few months this past season, but with the numbers he's putting up and the price tag we paid for him, I feel like if we get a sensible offer for him for, let's say, anywhere between 40 and, I'm pushing it here, 60 million, we should absolutely take it and reinvest. It would be tough seeing him go when there was so much hype around him, but I feel like he doesn't really fit well into our system and tends to actually slow games down. And we should take any reasonable offer that does come our way. Sorry, Jadon, I think it's time to go. And number 2 is Scott McTominay. And I'll be straight up honest with you all right now. I've never been a huge fan of McTominay since the day he got his debut. I don't know why, I just struggle to see what he actually brings to the team other than passion. Which is actually funny because he's provided me with some of the best moments in the past few years. You know, his long-range goal at Manchester City to absolutely destroying Leeds looking like prime R9. But while he's a tall, strong boy, his defensive acumens aren't all that great. He has some seasons with decent goal returns, but those seem to have faded now, and he finds himself struggling to get proper game time. I think he'd be well suited for teams like West Ham, Newcastle. Actually, I think he would do a job at Brentford as well. But I just don't see him fitting here. He can't even really... He's not the type of midfielder to really ping a through ball. He doesn't have any passing, like unless it's about 10-15 yards. He's not putting any strikers in on goal and not passing it over the top to any strikers. So I'm struggling to see what he really brings to our team. So not strong defensively and not really a great passer or holder of the ball. And one of my biggest things is that he doesn't ever actually show for the ball. He hides behind players. So any offer from me, in the region of 25 million, I'm going to take that and I'm going to invest it into another midfielder that we're going to see later on in this list. And number 3 is Anthony Elanga. I'll keep this one quite short. He's a promising youngster, a Swedish international, and he's got some goals in the Champions League. I guess that amounts to something, right? But this one's a pretty simple decision. zero goals this year. I don't even think he has an assist this year. And every time he comes onto the pitch, in my opinion, he looks clueless, like a headless chicken. I don't know what's happened with him in the last 18 months. Maybe that was just a quick purple patch, but I feel like he needs to go to a team that is going to utilize him properly. A team maybe like Everton. I think Everton would be a good place, but I would actually want to send him to the Bundesliga. I feel like he fits that league perfectly. A team like, I think we were talking with Leipzig. A team like Dortmund would probably do well. Maybe, I'm going to butcher their name, Mönchengladbach as well. Teams like that. I think he should go to the Bundesliga. He'll have a bit more freedom and more chance to express the characteristics he has. So I'm looking to get about 15-20 million for this guy. I mean, every other team can sell their youngsters for a good price, but we seem like unable to do that. So to me, 15-20 million might be a steal for this kid if he's going to the Bundesliga, because I can see him bagging some good goals out there. So yeah, Anthony Elanga, let's sell him. Try and get into the Bundesliga. He'll be super successful there. So anyway, see ya, Anthony. Number 4, we're going to add another Anthony to this list, and that's Anthony Martial. I absolutely fell in love with this kid the moment he signed and his debut against Liverpool. Oh man, I'll never forget that. That was one of the best games, one of the best moments I've seen post-Fergie. He just destroyed that defense in minutes. But unfortunately, in the last 3 seasons, he's only notched 14 goals and 7 assists as a striker. Let me say that again. 3 seasons, 14 goals, 7 assists. That's an absolute joke. That's an absolute joke for a starting striker. Yes, and we all know he's way too injury prone, and I struggle to see where he goes, honestly. I think he might need to leave the Premier League. I think it might be a bit too physical for him. And it's such a shame because he was such a promising player. He even had that Ballon d'Or clause in his contract. What a joke that seems like now, right? But I know the injuries aren't necessarily his fault, but I think there could be something said about his commitment to the game and how he keeps his body healthy. I mean, just look what happened to Eden Hazard. I don't know. I think some people, they just float. They just want to, they don't love the game of football, and they'll kind of do whatever they want, which leads to injuries. And you can kind of see that with Martial. I'm not sure if he's taking care of his body the way he should be. I would be sad to see him go, but his wages do not command a place in this team. They are incredibly high, which could be one of the factors why it might be very hard to to sell him to another club. But at 27 years of age, I think he needs to go if he has any ambition to be a successful footballer, from now on. I think a team, maybe in the French league, maybe again in the Bundesliga. I think also Spain he would survive pretty well in. So I try to get him out to one of those leagues and try to get about, I don't know if we can, but maybe about 20 to 25 million again for this guy. And let's just hope that he has a successful career after United, because we all remember that debut, and his first season or 2 was absolutely fire. Number 5, and I feel like I don't even need to mention this one, Harry Maguire. Look, I try my best to not dislike players, but sometimes this guy makes it super hard with his constant mistakes and his arrogance when talking to the media. This guy screams anything but a club captain. He does excel in some areas on the pitch, such as clearances, but did you know this? I'm not sure if you knew this, because I found this quite a crazy stat. When Maguire is on the pitch, the team concedes a goal every 108 minutes. Now that, I don't know, to me, that's insane. That's like no clean sheets. Whenever he's playing, just forget the fact of we're ever going to keep a clean sheet, because this guy can make mistake after mistake after mistake. And He was touted as a defender who could score goals as well. What we didn't know is that they meant scoring goals on his own net. I can't remember the last time he's actually scored an offensive goal for Manchester United. Can anyone comment below and tell me when was the last time he's actually scored a goal for us, not for the opposing team, all right? His defensive awareness is an absolute joke at times. He never takes responsibility for his actions. He never actually, I hate this word, but he never scans and sees the danger around him, all right? Now, don't get me wrong, he could be an excellent defender for a team that's not looking to play on the front foot. So I try to offload him to teams like West Ham, Everton, and Spurs. Though I'm not sure about Spurs with their new manager because it sounds like they want to play on the front foot as well, which they'll quickly learn. Maguire ain't the one, man. So if we could recoup maybe 40 mil for this guy, I might be pushing it at 40 mil. It would do us a huge favor. And I can't believe we're trying to actually give him 10 mil to leave. So in reality, we're only going to get 30 mil if we're going to send him for 40 mil or sell him for 40 mil. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do about Maguire, but I heard he does want to stay at the club for some reason. I'm not sure if that's true, but if he does stay here, I'm just going to question his ambition. Because you're not going to play, man, especially if we're going to be bringing in a new defender, which we might see on this list in a little bit. Okay, now on to the ins, the more exciting part. And let's start with the midfield. Now, the current talk is all about Mason Mount. And don't get me wrong, he's an exceptional player, and I would love to have him in this team. But if I had my choice, I'm going to sign Moises Kaisado for a multitude of reasons. The main reason being his defensive abilities and his versatility. He would ideally be our long-term replacement for Casemiro, but for now, I think he's actually good enough to play alongside Casemiro. And for those times where we need to play Luke Shaw at center back for an injury or suspension, he can also fill in at that left back role. And judging by what I've seen at Brighton, he can do very well in that left back role. Even though I know we got Malacia, but he actually might be better than Malacia at that left back role. But yeah, his work at Brighton has been absolutely outstanding. And remember, we could have had this dude for 10 mil a few years ago? I think it was about 10 mil when Ollie was here. His strongest attributes are holding on to the ball, winning duels, and actually being able to spray passes around from a deep lying position. And he can also pop up with a goal every now and then. He's not known for his goal scoring, but he does he does score a couple goals every season if you look at his stats, which we could always use a goal here and there. Maybe it's one of those games where it's 1-0 and he scores a long range screamer or something, all right? He was a major reason for Brighton's success this season, but De Zerbi has said that he is free to leave, which has got a lot of clubs hunting for his signature. His reported asking price is about 70 to 80 million, which I believe could be a steal since since Barcelona was asking for that for De Jong, and De Jong never wanted to come. So I would absolutely go for this guy. And it would be a disservice to our team if we did not at least make an attempt to sign this kid. He could be in our team for the next decade, and we need someone with that attitude and that versatility. Number 2 is Victor Osimhen. This could have been Harry Kane, but I do question Daniel Levy, and to be honest, I question Harry Kane's ambition to switch and attempt to win things at a bigger club. He's had multiple opportunities to do that, and he's never really taken them. He's always signed an extension at Tottenham, which, hey man, you do you. You do you. But I've always preferred us to signing Osimhen mainly due to his age. I'm sick of us getting strikers that are in their 30s, these short-term strikers. I'm not saying Kane would be that. I think he's got between 3 and 5 years left in him, but I just would like to see someone here that could be here for the next decade, and if not, someone that has some good sell-on value, because we suck at selling players and we need to improve on that. But there are some worries with Victor Osimhen here. He has had quite a few injuries since joining Napoli, and this honestly has really been his first prolific season. He scored a total of 31 goals and 4 assists across all competitions, which is very, very good for a striker. I mean, if we're comparing to Erling Haaland, it might not be great, but for a normal striker, these are very good numbers. And this is his highest scoring, his scoring season to date. And from what we hear, he wants a move to the Premier League. The sticking point, though, the price tag. This is why I don't think we will sign him. Doesn't mean I don't want to sign him, but this is why we won't sign him. He's rumored to cost an upward of 150 million. And in my opinion, no player in the world is worth that much. And I honestly don't even know if he's worth it yet. He's an exceptional striker and would add so much to this team, but unfortunately with the sale happening we have apparently some FFP issues. 150 million for an outstanding player just doesn't seem likely, but we can always hope. Maybe if we sell enough players, we can generate enough money to buy an exceptional striker like this. But look, man, I've been following this team for a long time now. I'm not holding my breath here. Number 3, Diogo Costa, the goalkeeper of Porto. Now, David De Gea has been a wonderful servant for this club for the past decade. And I think at one point he was my favorite player in this team. The saves he would make were outrageous. But it's now getting to the point where he is costing the team. He is prone to, not injuries, but he's prone to errors. And these especially happen in the bigger games. And honestly, with the system that we're trying to play, he does not fit at all. He does not pass the ball. He is not confident in the box. He's, forgive me here, I might use some, mean words, but he's kind of a pussy striker, or not striker, pussy goalkeeper. He doesn't come out and claim things. I swear he needs to start doing some more wrist curls because some of those shots look like they break past his wrists and go in. Just look at the one against, I think it was against West Ham where it just hit his hand and just still went in. Dude needs to start doing some more wrist and forearm workouts, all right? But anyway, Diogo Costa is the definition of a modern-day goalkeeper. He's young and could find himself between our sticks for the next decade, if not more. He's an exceptional shot stopper, passer, and he's very similar to the way he can dish out passes, actually, a very similar way to Ederson and Alisson. He's not shy to the occasional assist. He will ping the ball over the entire game to the striker and try and provide an assist when he can. He does come out and claim the box. He loves that 6-yard area. He is not gonna hide, and especially during crosses, he's not gonna hide. He comes out and he grabs the ball. We need a keeper who can pass, and unfortunately, David De Gea cannot pass the ball more than 5 yards. It's time to move on if we want to start competing with the likes of Man City and Arsenal. I hate to say Arsenal, but we need a competent keeper. Costa did have a couple blunders in the World Cup, but I will push that to one side because it is the World Cup. It's a tournament. I think maybe the hype got to him. I don't know. He just had a couple blunders, but I'm not holding that against him. His league stats are absolutely exceptional, and I believe he would really, really help us take that next step into becoming a possession-based team. Number 4. Here's an interesting one, all right, guys? And seeing that I got rid of a couple wingers and my outs, I think we need to add another winger. And my choice would be Moussa Diabi. This guy is an absolute speed demon. I mean, this dude is one of the fastest players I have ever seen play. And his stats are pretty decent too. Last year, he played a total of 47 games across all competitions, notching 14 goals and 9 assists. It's not terrible. It's not incredible. I think the year before that, I think just in the Bundesliga, he had 14 goals and 12 assists. So he does have the numbers, to back things up. The only thing is that sometimes the Bundesliga numbers, they just don't translate well to the Premier League. excluding maybe Gundogan and Erling Haaland, but we've seen Jadon Sancho, we've seen a few other players just not come over and translate well. But I want him here for his pace. I want him for teams that want to control the ball against us, that have the possession, where we can just ping balls over the top to Rashford, Diabi, guys like Garnacho as well. And we just know that players won't be able to keep up with him on the counter-attack, right? I'm a sucker for pacey forwards, which is why I want him at the club. His stats, like I said, his stats are decent. Whether they hold up in the Premier League, we're not sure. History hasn't been kind, but it would be a great option for us on the left or the right, maybe even down the middle, just for games where we know we got to sit back and play on the counter-attack. Imagine having a front three and we have to get them all working properly, but if Rashford, Diabi, and Garnacho, and we just had everyone else sitting back, pinging balls over Ruben Dias, over John Stones, and going in for the kill that way. There's going to be games where we have to play like that, and I think we need players like Moussa Diaby to fill those roles. Like I said, I love me a pacey winger or pacey forward, so let's go get him. Number 5, and this is one signing that looks like it's already happening, and that's Kim Min-jae. This absolute unit of a defender. I mean, I swear this guy can play tight end in the NFL. He's massive, dude. I don't know what he eats. Rice and eggs all day, baby. He ranks among the top center backs in all of Europe. If you just look at his stats, his percentages, he ranks upon, I think, like in the top 5% of all center backs in Europe, which is wild because he only came from China a couple years ago. He can pass, he's commanding, he's got it all. He's helped Napoli to their first Serie A title win since the Maradona days. Do you know what that means? Look, I mean, the city partied for like a week straight, all right? And he was a big tool in that title-winning season. But it does look like he wants to leave Napoli and wants to come to the Premier League. And from what I heard, he is a Manchester United fan, but I do hear it's between us and I think Newcastle as well. But I think if it's between us two, he's going to come here, isn't he? Rumors have it he's already said goodbye to the fans and the other players at Napoli. And his buyout clause, check this out, his buyout clause is half of what we paid for Maguire, and he's double the player of Maguire. So do that math for me right there. So it shouldn't even really be a question of should we sign him or not. We need to sign him. And in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, I would love to see him replace Varane in the league. And we keep Varane for the Champions League and for cups. Champions League Varane, right? Keep him healthy, wrap him in bubble wrap, let him play in the Champions League, and we keep Kim Min-jae for the Premier League. And I think our defense will do quite well. Anyways, those are my top 5 ins and outs I'd like to see happen this summer. I know some might be fantasy, but these are my wishes, damn it. It's my list. And who knows what's going to happen with the sale of the club? Are we even going to be able to buy anyone? I do hear we have a budget of 150 mil or so. So I think we do got to sell quite a few players to bring that budget up so we can buy some big name players. But we all know the Glazers just need to get the hell out of this club so we can move forward and sign some players. But yeah, tell me, are these players on this list ones you'd like to see us sign? If not, give me your list of players you'd like to see sign and ones that we need to get rid of. But for now, that's my top 5 ins and outs. I hope to see you all in the next one. Please do not forget to like, share, and most of all, subscribe. We'll be bringing you a lot of Manchester United news over the summer and into the next season. I will see you all on the next one.